Ladies and gentlemen, Sec.Fortunato T. Peña.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome DOST Secretary Fortunato T. Peña.
Thank you very much. Magsipin po tayo. Ako natutunan ng Ilocano, kaya Filipino ako. I'm very happy that I think after 2 years, magkatabi na naman kami ni Governor Matthew. At that time, we had the Regional Science and Technology Week opening, and he represented Governor Ivy. I think that was about 2 years ago, not last year, if I'm not mistaken. And I also recall that the very first time I came here for a regional celebration, katabi ko naman ay si Governor Bongo. At that time, siya ang governor. So, I'm happy to be here again, and I would like to greet the other officials of the province, of the region. We have, of course, Mayor, Vice Governor Cecil Marcos, and Mayor Michael Marcos Kion. We also have representatives of our Congresswoman Cristina Parinas, and I remember Congressman Eugenio Angelo Marcos Barba, because one time we visited the Provincial office, and he was the one who received us. At that time, we were trying to encourage more applications for DOST scholarship, because there were towns in Ilocos Norte which did not have DOST scholars yet. So the Vice Governor promised us that during the exam time, he will make sure that there will be transportation available from far away towns, from the examination centers, that will bring the students to the test centers. Okay? And today, I think we have covered already all the municipalities in Ilocos Norte. Meron na tayong mga scholars sa lahat ng municipalities. I actually am here. I arrived last night, and please do not expect a short message. Sinusulit ko lang po yung panahong pinunta ko dito. Mamayang alauna yung 50, aalis na naman ako. Kaya pabayaan nyo lang ilabas ko lahat ng gusto ko. The first part has been mentioned already by Mayor Kion. It is an explanation of what we expect here in the Regional Science Fair celebration. We hold this every year after the National Week celebration, which oftentimes are held in Manila. Okay? And so there are 16 regions in the country who celebrate the Regional Science and Technology Week celebration. I am here on the 8th Regional Science and Technology Week celebration. So 8 more to go. Okay? Last week, we did a period of 7 days. I was in Zamboanga, and last Sunday I was also in Tagum, Davao del Norte, the day before yesterday. But that was not a Regional Science and Technology Week celebration. We have a collaboration with one agricultural company, the Iho Plantation, in Tagum, Davao del Norte. They are one of the biggest producers of banana. Okay? And they had a celebration. They celebrated the 50th year of the first shipment of bananas to Japan. They also launched a new development, so the plantation will now be a mixed-use area. And on our part, we were invited because DOST has a collaboration with them in developing an app that will help the farmers gather information that will and make decisions regarding the coming pest that attacks banana. So the app will help them be forewarned and prepare for pests that damage the bananas. So that was the science and technology part there, but I was happy because I can see developments in the regions outside of the urban centers, outside of Manila, Cebu, and Davao, taking place, and that is what I would like to see also in these places. And that's why I hope the discussions will be continuing on the part of the DOST and the local government units, particularly coming from the governors down to the mayors, on specific plans that they have, which may entail or which may benefit from the use of science and technology. So this morning at breakfast, I was discussing with the Regional Director Arman Ganal. Sabi ko, ano kaya ang long-term development plan for Ilocos Norte? I'm sure meron, pero hindi ko pa nakikita, so that we can fit in the science and technology programs into it. Anyway, the celebration that we have this year focuses on sustainable development technologies, and this is in keeping up with the 17 SDGs that was developed and announced by the United Nations that the countries will try to achieve. So the 17 Sustainable Development Goals we try to capture in the exhibits that we have. Of course, the exhibits are not as many as what we have in the Manila exhibit, but they are clustered according to groups of sustainable development goals. For example, there are exhibits that deal with food security and the environment. Okay, so that covers two SDGs. Food security, freedom from hunger, and environment. There are exhibits that deal with wellness. Okay? This is on the sustainable development for health and well-being. Okay? And there is a cluster of exhibits that deal with our marine and terrestrial resources. There are exhibits that deal with sustainable cities. There are exhibits that deal with rural value chains. And there are exhibits that deal with disaster risk reduction. So that is how we have clustered the exhibits in the regional exhibit or fair. The other thing, of course, that I would like to do, this is the second part, is to update you on certain developments over at the Department of Science and Technology, at least by using some examples. And this is the presentation which I call a call to service, science for the people. The next slide gives an outline of what this presentation is all about. First, I just would like to emphasize that in all the developed countries, they have really invested in science and technology and research and development. Then I focused on some of the important uses that I would like to show you resulting from our research and development efforts. To illustrate, for example, the role of technology in the efficient use of public resources and also on the enforcement of laws, and then technologies for import substitution and value addition, technologies for improving productivity and competitiveness, and of course, cross-cutting will be the enabling achievement of sustainable development goals. Now, here is a sampling of the technologies that we have developed, and they are addressing a particular need which we all feel today, a pressing national need, which is on transportation. Particularly in the urban areas, there is really a very pressing need for mass transport. And we have actually completed the product development of 3 items here: the hybrid electric train, all Filipino design, all Filipino manufacture, and was assembled without importing anything. Okay, because the inputs that were used were actually available here, even if they were made abroad. So there is no need for us to import. Somebody else is importing it. Now, we have turned over the hybrid electric train to the Philippine National Railways this June, after passing all the international tests, which we conducted and which PNR also conducted. So they had no reason anymore to say that they cannot use it. So after passing our test and their test, they accepted it and included it in their fleet that runs in the area Alabang, San Pedro route and back in the southern part. The only complaint that they had when we turned it over to them, mahina daw ang busina. So sabi namin, bahala na kayo magpalakas ng busina. Anyway, the advantage of the hybrid electric train, hybrid po siya dahil kahit na diesel ang kanyang major fuel, pag umaandar na yung tren, nagkakarga yung battery sa tren. Okay, so there is around 20% savings in diesel fuel. The other one is the hybrid electric road train. Pareho din siya ng hybrid electric train, except na ang gulong niya ay goma. Okay? So, yung sa PNR, ang gulong niya ay pangbakal, ito ay pang-karsada. Okay? So, we have actually developed 2 prototypes. Okay? Yung isa ngayon ay ginagamit sa Kawayan, Isabela, at yan ay itinurn over namin kay Mayor D ng Kawayan City, at ino-operate na nila within the Kawayan area. Siyempre ngayon, nandun pa sila sa period of introduction, sinasanay pa nila yung mga tao na eksaktong oras dadaan doon sa mga istasyon. Okay? Yung isang mas mahaba po ay nasa Gensan. Sa Gensan kasi, maganda ang kanilang road network. Okay? Noong una, dinala namin yan sa Cebu, pero nahirapan sa Cebu kasi makikipot din yung karsada within Cebu City. Yung isang nasa itaas, yung automated guideway transport, meron itong elevated rail. Okay? Yung development po niyan ay ginawa sa UP Diliman with the agreement that if UP Diliman would like to use it after the product development stage, we will help them complete the route to go around UP. But if they do not want it, we will disassemble and we will transfer it. So, after it was developed, sabi ng UP, we would like to have a walking and biking student population. So, we disassembled it, and it is now in the possession of Bataan Peninsula State University in Balanga, which has put up a DS Railway Engineering program. Okay? Next, another area which I think has been adopted already, and this has been adopted by DBM, by the Department of Budget and Management. Way back in 2013, DOST-STII started the use of LiDAR technology, light intensity detection and ranging, as a remote sensing tool to be able to draw hazard maps all over the country. In that particular project, we engaged 16 universities all over the country to be involved in that particular program. Many of these universities, after the program, have put up their own geospatial technology programs. Okay? Some have started offering degrees in remote sensing, and many have continued servicing their build projects na gumagawa ng kalsada. National Greening Program ng DANR, yung mga irrigation projects na ginagawa ng NIA, at pag sinabi sa kanila nung nag-submit ng report na 60% completed, hindi na sila mabobola. Kasi makikita na through digital imaging kung ano yung percentage. Last March, during the first anniversary of the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, this project won one of the 4 awards that they granted, okay, for projects that are helping them in the elimination of corruption. The next technology is not yet complete. Let me just show you. This is in the detection and identification of illegal substances. Okay? Ang usefulness lang nito, okay, pagka nakakuha ka o nakakonfiscate ka ng mga shabu, okay, pwede mong i-compare yung mga iba't iba na yon to determine kung aling shabu ang pare-pareho ang pinanggalingan. Okay? Because of the isotope-based analytical technique that we are developing, we are hoping that the PDEA will be assisted in tracing, okay, the sources of the illegal drugs. Okay? The next slide is something that may be interesting for senior citizens. This is the Access Knee system, a total knee replacement system that is specifically designed for the Asian population. Marami na po ngayon ang nagpapa-knee implant. Okay? Kasi pag damage na yung knee mo, talagang hirap na hirap ka na. And it was found out by Dr. Ramon Bustillo, the Filipino scientist who partnered with the DOST-STII in this, that yung palang size at saka shape ng knee ng Asian ay kaiba dun sa knee ng mga Caucasians. Okay? So pag nag-importan, i-implant na knee, okay, ay mas matagal ang recovery dahil mas malaki yung knee na inilalagay sa iyo at hindi pareho ng korte. Okay? When I saw her during the anniversary of PCHRT, she was walking straight. Okay? And I asked her, what happened? I had a knee implant, sir. Sabi ko, hindi ba pareho masakit ang tuhod mo? Yes, sir. I had the implant the same operation, the same time. So I had 2 implants during the same surgery. Sabi ko, hindi ba mahirap? Kaya mas mahirap daw kung magkaibang araw pa kasi baka hindi maging pantay ang lakad niya. Kaya pinagsabay na at saka malaki ang discount niya for 2 implants. Okay? For 2 implants that she had, she spent a little over 400,000 pesos. Sa ordinaryong imported yon, baka yung 400,000 mo hindi pa enough for 1 knee. Okay? Diagnostic kit Biotech and Aqua Kit. Ito ay ang Region-1, ang isa sa mga unang nag-adapt nito. This is the diagnostic kit for the rapid test for dengue. Alam naman natin, experience ko, nung ako ay nagkaroon ng anak na may naka-dengue, nung siya ay 16 years old, ay dinadala namin sa doktor dahil may lagnat. Sabi nila, hindi daw nila masabi kung dengue pa kasi okay pa naman ang platelet count. So, araw-araw bumabalik kami. On the 5th day, nag-bleed na yung anak ko sa ilong, sa bibig. So, it was already an emergency. And ICU na siya agad. And therefore, we had to spend more than if we had only detected that he had dengue much earlier. Okay? And this one is affordable rapid test for accurate detection within an hour, and it has high sensitivity, high specificity, and kahit unang onset pa lang ng fever, ma-distinguish na kung dengue o hindi. And nandito po ba yung mga representatives nitong company na itinayo ng researcher for the dengue diagnostic kit? Are they here? Saan sila? Kasi ayun po yung mga sa company na yan kasi the researcher established a company to commercialize. But we supported the research. Nanalo po siya ng gold during the 2018 competition in Geneva, Switzerland. Another program that we hope we can actively promote in Region 1, in the Ilocos region, would be the business incubators. I think Mariano Marcos State University has one already, and at the moment there are 44 of them, okay, and 12 of them are actually focusing on agricultural technologies. Okay, so marami ng mga you can see from the statistics in the next slide that we have already covered around more than 200 startups in this incubator. 70 have actually been developed as full-blown startup companies, and some of the other statistics are shown here. Okay? Next slide. We just want you to know that there are new facilities that have been set up in the DOST institutes. One of them is the Advanced Mechatronics, Robotics, and Industrial Automation Laboratory. This is really in preparation for our small and medium enterprises trying to attain the level 4.0 industry category, okay, which will involve the use of various technologies like mechatronics and robotics and automation. The next facility are the Advanced Manufacturing Center, which we are still putting up. There are two components. One is on raw materials development and the other one is for prototyping. Dito po sa Philippine Science High School, Ilocos Campus, sa San Ildefonso, meron silang semblance ng advanced manufacturing doon. They have the Fab Lab that was introduced by the Department of Trade and Industry. And they can do product development through additive manufacturing. Yung additive manufacturing, add ka lang ng layer ng material until you come up with the finished product. Okay? Doon naman sa raw materials development, we are exploring new sources. Okay? Traditional na yung ceramics at saka yung polymers, but there are new material sources like natural products. Abaca, for example, has been found to be very good converted into nanoparticles that will have very strong properties. Next, we have the Electronics Product Development Center. Just 2 weeks ago, it was given ISO 17025 certification. Ang purpose nito is to accept yung mga small electronics manufacturers who want to develop new electronic consumer products. So they don't need to have their own facilities for development. We provide, for example, the printed circuit board prototyping facility and also the testing facilities that are needed for electronic components and products. The next slide shows the expansion we are making on our packaging research and development facilities. We have here a new addition, the green and sustainable packaging materials and technology that focuses on the use of indigenous and renewable materials for packaging. And the other one that we have, I think hindi pinakita dito, yung simulation packaging. Next slide. We have, in response to the clamor of the semiconductor and electronics industry, we put up the Advanced Device and Materials Testing Laboratory so that those smaller companies do not have to send their materials and products to Hong Kong and Singapore for testing. So they can do it now here, and the good thing is that we are now break even. Hindi na kami abonado dito. And we are now servicing not only the semiconductor and electronics, but also the automotive, aerospace, metals and mining, medical, plastics, inks and coatings, food and consumer products. Next, we have, actually this is one thing that I think you will show in the exhibits. We have focused also on developing nutrition products, fortified food products to address the needed dietary supplementation. You should be aware that the Philippines in the whole of ASEAN has the highest percentage of malnutrition for children below 2 years old or 1,000 days. And so we have developed different formulations, mostly coming from bongo and rice. Okay? So dinadagdagan na lang ng konting flavoring like cheese ng mga private manufacturers. So dito sa Region 1, merong mga adapters that are already in the commercial level. And I understand that one of our adapters, Nutridents, has already started exporting baby food to California. Okay. Next, this is one of the achievements, okay, that has been actually recognized last week by the Civil Service Commission. We won 3 awards at Civil Service last September 10. One is for our team who worked on Diwata 2. The latest satellite that was launched into space and is now orbiting. We have another team that won because of their 24/7 work in irradiation, particularly to service the food exporters. And we had also the award won by the researcher of Biotech M. Okay? So here we have the details. We have Diwata 1, Diwata 2, and Maya 1 now orbiting into space. We will come up with the third version of the 50-kilogram microsatellite, and hopefully we can also come up with a bigger one before the end of 2022. And of course, the President already signed the law creating the Philippine Space Agency. The next slide, I think some statistics. These are some of the facilities that are supporting our satellite and space technology activities. So we have one that receives data, we have one that stores and processes, okay? And all of these are part of our space agency, space technology development program. Next, we have statistics on the scholarships that DOST is implementing, and I would like to report that we are now at the 98% level in terms of covering municipalities with the DOST scholars. And we are producing almost more than 5,000 new graduates a year in our DOST scholarship program. And maybe we are now approaching the last slide. Next slide. Meron pa ba? Just to highlight some of the achievements of our Philippine Science High School scholars. One on the left is Isabel Angel Palma from the Philippine Science High School in Bicol. She developed the green air conditioner that doesn't use any harmful ozone-depleting coolants. Okay? But we are not handling the commercialization of this. Her parents are also engineers, and they are the ones handling the commercialization. And Hilary Ann Dayan Andales from Palol Leyte, who won the grand prize of the 3rd Breakthrough Junior Challenge because he was able to produce a 2-minute video that explains the theory of relativity. And for that, she bested 11,000 other contestants all over the world, and she won $400,000 US. Okay? Kaya lang, hindi naman niya nahawakan yun. The $250,000 was set aside for her US education. and she is now in the US. The 100,000 was used to purchase laboratory equipment for her high school. So it was given to the Philippine Science High School, and the 50,000 remaining was given to her advisor, cash. So pinakamaswerte yung advisor. Next. Okay, I'm just highlighting here the importance of collaboration. I do not need to elaborate on this, but as I said, we are very open to collaboration. Now we have strong collaboration with the universities, but we would welcome collaboration with local government units. Next, this is one of the programs that is getting popular. Our local enterprises or industries, if they have some research problem or concept in mind and they do not have the people to do the R&D, they can choose the university which they think can do it for them. And they can partner and they can propose to us and we will assist them up to a maximum of 5 million pesos for the joint R&D. And next, we have, meron pa ba? These are now our program to develop strong research centers in the region. There are now 15 of them. They are focused on very, very narrow areas, but they are strong in those areas. So we provide with money for improved facilities, with research funds, and with human resource development support. So you can see here, starting the Citrus R&D Center in Nueva Vizcaya, the Freshwater Fish Center in Isabela. Ito yung focusing on freshwater eel. The Center for Astronomy at Rizal Technological University. The Potato R&D Center in Benguet State. The Sweet Potato R&D Center in Tarlac State. The Tamarind R&D Center in Pampanga. And so on. Okay? So, yung sa Pampanga, very interested ako sa Tamarind R&D Center because they work together with the local government. So, ang local government, before you're given a business permit, you're required to plant tamarind trees. Okay? And before you get a marriage license, you have to plant a tamarind tree. Okay? Anyway, I think this would be the last. Is there any other part? The good news is that in the Global Innovation Index that is announced yearly by the World Intellectual Property Office, the Cornell University and INSEAD of France, we make a big jump from 73 to 54, okay, in ranking. So for the last 2-3 years, we were number 73 out of 126 countries. But this year, we jumped to 54 out of 129. And we are very proud of that because we know we have contributed to that. I think we have to move to the next slide to conclude. And this is